I'm Ashley.
I'm Lauren, and this is
Whispers in the Basement. Yeah.
nice and profesh.
Profesh. Every time I do that, it makes me think of ASMR, which you either love or you hate. I love.
You do love. You like the whispering ASMR.
I do.
I like the soap cutting.
I love it. Soap cutting is also, or the phloem.
Ooh, or the little like phloem balls that are like coated in that, I don't know, some kind of plastic, and they say blue or purple, and then you have to guess, and then...
Have you also watched the wood soup?
No.
It's so cool.
Okay, remind me after this so I can...
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, another weird video. Courtney and I love listening to...
Are you going to tell the bowls?
The cow calling?
The fuck is a cow call?
Okay, there's this girl that her whole YouTube is her doing this like...
Okay, no. But that's because it's like Swedish.
Yes, and her cows always come running whenever she does that.
That's pretty.
Yeah,
I thought you were talking like Midwestern, like I'm thinking of my dad where he's going, Sioux cow, Sioux cow.
Don't they do competitions like that at
the Iowa State Fair?
Yes.
Yeah, and they also do Holler for Your Husband.
Yep.
Holler for Your Husband contests.
Yeah.
I've seen those and I'm like, really? Guys?
That's one of those like, if I sat and watched those,
Joey,
I would be amazing.
Get your butt. Like that's what they sound like. I'm like, yeah, nope. Checking out.
Checking out audio. Scroll. Yeah, no.
But the cow calling girl, I have seen hers before, and they're very. She's got a pretty voice, I think.
Yes. Courtney's always, if we're ever at my house and we're watching YouTube videos, she's always like, "Can we watch that again?" And I'm like, yeah,
have you seen? Speaking of Swedish, have you seen? And maybe you remember The Sound of Ice. Do you remember I showed you that one time?
No.
It's a girl that lives in like Sweden. She lived in the city and then decided she didn't want to live in the city. She didn't want to live the city life anymore. And so they moved like out to the middle of nowhere. And they make like silver jewelry. It's beautiful. Super expensive, but beautiful handmade silver jewelry. And they live near a lake. And it gets so cold up there that when ice actually forms, it makes a sound. Or when it cracks, it makes a sound. So she goes and she sits on this lake because the ice is super thick there. And she records the sound of ice.
Oh, I bet that is so nice.
It's so cool. It sounds like electricity. When it's just...
You were getting ready to try to...
Yep, I was getting ready to try to sound like electricity. It just sounds so cool.
Oh, I bet that would be so relaxing to listen to, too.
It is.
Yeah.
I love it. I love shit like that, though, so...
No,
I'm kind of woo-woo.
You're woo-woo hippie
woo-woo-boo-boo. Yeah. If you caught the last episode, I'll do yoga with you. Not in forests, but I'll do goat yoga.
You need to go do a sound bath again.
I thought about that the other day, but I want a sound bath like the first one.
What was the first one?
We were all in that big room, and it was dark.
Alley Cat?
Yes.
I looked
Not the second one.
Yeah, no. Because that one, I mean, you would hear...
I couldn't relax, because you were making me a nervous fucking wreck.
I just wasn't
you weren't
attention.
yeah, you weren't conforming to the rules.
No, I thought that she said envision yourself doing these movements.
I look over and you look like you're frying like a piece of bacon. I'm like, what
starfish on the floor. Imagining in my head that I'm doing all of these yoga poses, and then I realize that she's saying, like, repeating again to do them, and so then I open my eyes and I look over and I see that Ashley's doing the poses.
I still think the funniest thing was...
Oh my God, whenever I forgot my blanket...
was when you told me that you went with Kaylee.
Yeah.
And didn't bring a fucking thing with you. Like, you didn't have anything. And
because I wasn't told.
So then I'm just picturing you laying on this bare floor. Just laying on this bare floor after they've done the tuning fork and you've picked your crystal and you're just like...
Yeah, set my intention.
Yeah, lay in there.
Because there were women that literally walked in with, like, these comfy-ass pillows.
You're there to take a nap.
Great. Basically,
yeah, you're there to take a nap.
I was on my, like, yoga mat that I bought from, because I was like, I'm going to get a Lululemon yoga mat, and it was, like, called the Big Mat, and this sucker is, like, XXL, so it's always mortifying whenever I unroll it.
So Stop. It's
But-
such a pretty, and it's comfy as shit.
Yeah, it's a good mat. But yes,
Can you imagine doing one with, like we did at Alley Cat, like stoned?
Because it was long. Oh,
I
mean,
don't know as I would have woke up.
no.
I would have been like,
Because it was like pitch black in there.
yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I think we even had the things that you
The
could cover
weighted
your
eye
eyes
mask.
with. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they had, I just
And then they walked
remember.
around with the like essential oil spray.
Oh, yes.
Man, it's almost like a nap without a nap.
Yeah, it definitely is a mind reset. It's
Yeah.
just, yeah.
That would be fun to do, and then like go get in like a hot tub or a sauna after.
Yes. So, actually, I don't think Clarity doesn't have hot tub. They have massages. I think. You know, Clarity Spa?
Is that the float spa?
Yeah.
Oh.
They have massages, and I think it would be good to do a massage and then go do the float spa.
Oh yeah, that would be so nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved that float spa.
I do wish that the float spa had an option for music in the pod.
It doesn't?
No.
I thought it did.
It plays music at the end to wake you, like, to wake
Oh,
you back up.
because
to
you
let
can hear
know.
music outside.
Mhm.
See, did you close your lid?
Yes.
See, I am claustrophobic, and I tried it,
Uh-huh.
and I about had a mental breakdown. I couldn't breathe
Yeah.
because it's also warm water.
Yeah.
It's salt water. That's how you float. So it's like humid, and the air is really thick.
Mhm.
And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna close this. That's why I couldn't do a cabin. I couldn't do a cabin.
Oh, okay.
I would have to do a pod. And when I closed that lid, I was like, I can't breathe. So I had to have the lid open part of the way.
Yeah, Seth did not like doing that. Like, his tinnitus was, like, going constantly. And he was like, I tried to do everything. And he was like, it just was not fun.
I loved it.
Yeah, I would do it again. Except I do wish it wasn't, like, I wish it was 60 minutes instead of 90 minutes. But 90 minutes is too long for me.
Yeah.
To be there with my thoughts by myself.
If I could get in and immediately just like chillax, it takes me a while to.
Chill.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is your all-time favorite thing to cook from scratch?
So I haven't been like the world's best cook. I mean, I don't think I'm bad.
Oh, you're a good cook.
I'm a good cook now, but it's taken me a long time to get there.
Right.
But a lot of it's just because I don't have the patience to do it. But now that I am cooking more, I can make some dang good gnocchi.
Oh, yeah. Gnocchi.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I like my cinnamon rolls, man.
Yeah, your cinnamon rolls are fire.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with that coffee icing.
Girl.
So good.
Da bomb.
Yeah, amazing.
I'm sorry. It's not the bomb. It's got Riz.
It's got Riz.
If anybody
Dragon
under the age of
Riz.
16 is listening to this, they're probably like, cringe.
Yeah. Memphis is gonna
It's
be
got
like, Mom,
Riz
why would you
Raz.
say that?
We just built different.
Yep, honestly. So today we are going to do a deep dive into Ballerina Farms.
I have never heard of Ballerina Farms.
Okay, well, you live under a rock, clearly.
I guess so.
Because you were even on TikTok during COVID.
Yeah.
So...
I was on a different TikTok than
Yeah,
you. though.
your For You page is not my For You page.
I was on fuck your hair up TikTok,
Yeah.
not on your TikTok.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
So everything I'm about to say is alleged, and honestly, this is just fun for me to gossip about, honestly.
Okay.
Alright, so you have never heard of Ballerina Farms.
Never ever.
But for the 13.2 million followers on her TikTok and Instagram, we have heard of her. So Hannah Nealman and her husband Daniel own and run a ranch in Utah called Ballerina Farms. From this ranch, Hannah has curated the most aesthetically pleasing homestead content. This content has grown to a combined 13.2 million followers. On the farm, they sell meat they raise, raw baked goods, baking supplies, sourdough starters, and flours through their website. They also offer subscription boxes with an assortment of either like meat in a box, raw baked goods in a box, or like you can get floral arrangements. I think they have like 1 or 2 floral arrangements that they offer every month.
So okay, I'm looking at pictures right now.
Uh-huh.
Yep, have no clue who this woman is. Very homesteady though.
Yeah, very homesteady.
Maybe you'll get to this part, but I'll wait.
Okay. So on her social media, you will see perfectly imperfect videos of a rustic homesteading lifestyle. Her kids are running around in sad beige kid clothes, being kids on a farm, helping with chores, cooking, crafting, and just having a blast. Hannah will make videos of her throwing these from scratch meals together. And the whole time, she makes it just look effortless and like she's living the dream life. She will even let her kids help, which, I mean, just makes it so wholesome. Honestly, some of her standout videos where she's cooking, like her from scratch meals, is she's made like homemade mozzarella from scratch.
Oh, girl. There's actually a lady in Missouri that I follow on Instagram that makes...
Is it the Boone lady? Like Farmhouse on Boone?
No. Wild Carrot Farm, I think is what it is. She's down like southish area, maybe. Mm-hmm. She makes mozzarella, and she also makes makeup out of...
Like plants and stuff?
Nope. What's that stuff that comes off of animal fat? Tallow.
Oh, tallow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Tallow.
Huh.
It's so fun. And soaps. Goat milk soap.
Oh,
I'll have to share her Instagram to you.
Yeah. The Farmhouse on Boone girl, she lives in Boone County.
Oh.
And her specialty is like einkorn flour.
I have no idea what that is.
So it's like an ancient grain.
Interesting.
Before, America got a hold of wheat and made it to what it is today.
Sawdust?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. The one, I think it's Wild Carrot Farm. I like her because she's like the homestead version of me. She's covered in tattoos, piercings.
Oh, I love that.
Freaking love her.
Okay, yeah, send her to me.
I will.
So, Hannah's haters will say that her and her husband are cosplaying as homesteaders.
I mean, it's a fad right now.
It
so
is.
I could see that.
Yeah. Hannah is currently a mom of 7 and expecting her 8th baby.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so, she's a mom of 8. I don't know, I'm probably wording that wrong. She also just won the Mrs. American pageant.
I was just going to ask about that, because as I'm scrolling through her Instagram, that's all I see is...
Yeah. The publicity for that.
How do you push out 8 children and look like this?
Yeah.
There's not a wrinkle on her face.
I don't think that they eat any junk food. It's, from scratch meals 24/7. But not even, massive desserts or anything.
I wonder if she's dipping her face in tallow.
Probably. So the Mrs. American pageant is established to honor married women who still want to compete in the pageant industry. The more the account for Ballerina Farms grows, the more people are speculating how the Nealmans have this picture-perfect farming lifestyle. So let's go back to the beginning for Hannah and Daniel. They were married, they got married in 2011. These two are born and bred city kids. Hannah is a Juilliard-trained ballerina, and Daniel is a graduate with a master's in business. Shortly after they got married, they were residing in South America for Daniel's job with 2 of their sons. The boys were obsessed with farm life. You know how kids get, hyperfixated on certain things?
Oh, yeah.
My brother's was trains, and my oldest nephew's is Hot Wheels and dinosaurs.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of how their kids were with, their sons at the time, were with farming. Hannah and Daniel took the boys on a weekend trip inland in Brazil, where they were touring a cattle operation that also had pigs. This was not your traditional U.S. industrialized farming, where the animals are fenced up and have no quality of life. The pigs were roaming with the cows and munching on local produce that was coming from vegetation in the trees around them. So, the fruits would, fall out of the trees, and that's, what fed the animals.
Yeah, it's natural.
Yeah. So 4 years later, the farm left a big enough impression on Daniel and Hannah that whenever they returned to the U.S., they decided that they wanted to recreate the farming that they saw in Brazil. By the time that they were starting the farm, they had 3 boys and a girl on the way. After purchasing 100 acres in Birdseye, Utah, they dove headfirst into farming, where Hannah documented everything, including errors that they would make and how they would fix it. To this day, Hannah will still say that they're learning and growing. Hannah and Daniel took farming management and marketing courses and went to YouTube and invested a lot of time and money to grow the farm to what it is today.
Is it a pretty large farm?
Yeah. I'll get into what the current farm
Okay.
is.
Okay.
So a few months after purchasing that land, a fire broke out that led to an evacuation of 2,000 homes and 6,000 people. This is where Hannah and Daniel decided to relocate their farm and expand their dream. The new farm is located in Camas, Utah, and they purchased 300 acres that had working barns, corrals, and water. So I feel like 300 acres is pretty big.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And this new farm is where Ballerina Farms really blew up because they had the room to blow up.
Mm-hmm.
And they're still actively expanding it. They're, like, putting new, like, infrastructure and stuff up. I think they're doing, like, a big, dairy.
Just them?
No.
Okay.
I mean, they have help.
Okay.
Yeah. So they launched their website and they started selling their meats and aprons and Ballerina Farms merch. So, like, anything that you buy from them, like, spoons, whisk, anything has the Ballerina Farms etched into it.
Okay.
So Hannah started finding her niche on the internet. She started sharing her experience with her competing as Mrs. Utah,
Okay.
which is what got her into the Mrs. USA or Mrs. American pageant. She has this pool that is just so interesting. She rarely has her hair or makeup done, and her clothing is usually just very simple. You know, she, like, is usually wearing, like, jeans, boots,
Mm-hmm.
blouses,
Mm-hmm.
just...
She's simple.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I know that you have probably thought with that many kids and living in the U.S. that she has to be Mormon, but no, she's a Christian. And that is something that she openly shares when she is on the stage and representing herself as Mrs. American.
Does she have a nanny?
So it's speculated. It's not confirmed.
Okay.
On any
Because I was
this.
going to say there's no possible... I mean, I'm not going to say that. I retract my statement.
Yeah, so, like, there's a lot of speculation that they have, you know, nannies and stuff. Their house is never spotless. Like, their house is very rustic, and their floors are, like, not, like, laminate, but, like, the real hardwood floors, so they just don't look super, super clean. They just look nice and rustic, and the whole house has that feel.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. They just really kind of evade any, like, questions about details. They put out their content, and they don't like engage with their audience.
And so, like, that to me is a little weird because maybe I just look at it like, how do you, well, I guess I look at it and I think, how do you still gain followers then? But I guess if you're aesthetically pleasing,
Yeah.
even if you're not engaged, it's still possible for you to engage
on TikTok,
or get followers, gain
Emily
followers.
Rico, who blew up because of her salmon bowls that she made with, like, leftover salmon that she cooked. She does not respond to any comments or like anything. She just puts videos up and
That's
goes.
it.
Yeah. She has, like, a lot of followers.
That's so weird.
And her platform just keeps growing.
Is there bad Reddits on these guys?
On Ballerina Farms.
Or the other girl, the salmon
I don't
bowl
know
girl?
if Emily Rico has her own snark page or not. Ballerina Farms does, though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Hannah displays herself as the ultimate traditional wife, serving her husband and cooking from scratch. She is an involved mother and is always letting her kids get dirty. Honestly, she is what most moms dream of being, but could never feel like they could live up to it. Her boys are always... Oh my god, what was that?
I don't know.
Her boys are always the cutest little things with their cowboy hats on, and the girls are usually in the little day dresses. Think Little House on the Prairie, but modern.
Yeah, that's the feel I get from it.
Yeah. Hannah found her niche at the right time. When all of us were at home because of COVID and scrolling TikTok, plotting how we need to buy land and start homesteading, Hannah created a virtual escape for us to live out that fantasy.
That is very true.
Yeah.
It was like the fear that had generated in society because of COVID and, like, watching the cities go through lockdown. That is exactly when everybody was like, I'm living off the grid.
Yeah.
You're right.
Well, and you had the shortage of just basic everyday groceries.
Yep.
And so you were just like, okay, let's just build a commune, live off the land, have our own community, and basically fuck the man.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Ballerina farm lifestyle is just honestly too perfect. In all of the videos where Hannah is kneading her bread and making her meals from scratch, you will see this beautiful green stove behind her. This stove is what homemaking dreams are made of. Once people started seeing her use it, people began investigating how much stove this would cost so that they could have it for themselves. This exact stove seen in her videos is worth $30,000.
What's so great about it? Is it the fact that it's vintage?
It's vintage. It's huge, honestly.
I mean, it's
cool.
like, I'm sorry if I
You're
kicked
okay.
you. It's like a commercial sized.
Yeah.
It just looks vintage.
Yeah, it's very, I don't know, it kind of gives me, like, what is it, like, Hygge? Hygge vibe. Like, warm, cozy.
I have no
Cozy.
idea what you're saying.
Okay, look up the word Hygge. It's, like, this whole movement.
Oh, do you know what I think this is?
What?
Hold on.
Okay.
It's Danish.
Yeah.
I saw a book one time. This is kind of frustrating that we're stealing Danish and Swedish terms and using them as our own. I don't know.
America's a whole melting pot of everything.
I know. It's just like that's always been a thing for them, and now it's like a fad here.
Yeah.
I know. I'm just saying, like, it's a little annoying.
I mean, yeah. I can see that. So the internet went wild when people started posting how much it cost. Hannah went on to say that they did buy it secondhand, but I mean, let's be honest, that's still thousands of dollars. The stove went out at one point over the summer, and a specialist had to come to the farm to fix it. It took weeks to get that specialist there. That didn't stop Hannah from cooking meals from scratch. She would create a make-way stove on her deck with a propane tank and cast iron skillet, and she would cook all of their meals in that cast iron skillet.
Of course she would.
The AGA stovetop that never turns off and runs by propane year-round is how all of the dots about how they were able to afford the farm started connecting. Daniel, whose father is David Gray Nealman, and the founder of major airlines, including Morris Air, WestJet, JetBlue Airways, Azul Brazilian Airways, and Breeze Airways. So he is an heir.
Of course he is.
To JetBlue. The problem isn't that their immense wealth, or that the immense wealth behind the family. For many, it's the Nealmans' lack of transparency. Their failure to disclose that their humble farm isn't quite as humble after all.
Why? Tell me.
Oh, well, I mean, they just aren't, like, being transparent with, yeah, we have lots of money to invest into this
I see what you're saying.
operation.
But, what if it's... I don't know what I'm trying to say here. What if, like, you do have some people that have a lot of money and they all, like, here, but they don't talk about it. They just live, like, that way of living, it looks like a humble way of life.
Right. To me, this just helps me take everything that they do with a grain of salt. Yes, I think that this kind of lifestyle is still attainable, but not to the degree that Ballerina Farms is. They have a massive financial backing, and they just really can't fail.
Yeah. So it's kind of like Tegan.
Yeah, Tegan Gerard. Or the Pioneer Woman.
Yeah.
She can go invest X amount of dollars into this idea that she has, and if it fails, okay, well, she has 500 other things to fall back on.
Right.
Yeah. The fact that they come for money just kind of takes the sparkle out of the content that they produce. I almost wish that they would do a tell-all where they air it all out, acknowledge the help that they have, and had to start up and keep funding this dream. Obviously, they're still making money from, like, socials and their websites and stuff. They do have farm hands, obviously, to help with all of the, like, milking, because they also milk goats and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They're also big raw milk consumers.
I can't.
Which triggers the crap out of people right now.
I don't know as I could do that.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know.
Raw milk actually tastes pretty good.
I don't know. I don't like milk, though.
I'm cool with pasteurized milk, too.
I don't like milk. It's not... I take it or leave it.
Yeah, I'm not just chugging glasses of milk.
Mm-hmm.
I fell into the holistic rabbit hole of how good raw milk is for you and how pasteurization takes out a bunch of essential vitamins and blah, blah, blah. Not getting into it with anybody, it's fine.
I think it could go both ways.
Yeah.
I think it could. Because like pasteurized, that was the thing that turned me off from milk was when you, somebody had told me that the, what is it? Not FDA. No. Is it the FDA?
It probably is the FDA.
Allows a certain percentage of blood and pus to go into milk.
Oh, yeah.
Because they bleed and they're, what's that word I'm looking for?
Like the udders?
Their udders. Yeah, their udders bleed and they get infected and pussy because they are milked so much that it's the FDA it allows a certain amount of blood and pus to go into your milk. And ever since I have found that out, when I drink a glass of milk, I cannot help but think I'm drinking pus.
Oh. Yeah, so I guess with raw milk, you're mainly buying from small farms.
Yeah,
So
it's just the fact that it's not gone through
the pasteurization.
Yeah, and I think it could go both.
People that drink their raw milk.
Absolutely, I think it could go both ways.
Yeah.
You could get sick off of either one of them.
Right.
I don't know.
I'm not
I've also read that.
Are.
Yeah, well, I've also read that humans weren't made to
drink
animal milk. So
yeah, I don't know.
the fact that some of us can is a little weird. If you're lactose intolerant, that's supposed to be more normal.
So then there's another argument with the raw milk community that says that if you have lactose intolerance, that drinking raw milk would be easier on your gut.
I mean, that could be.
Yeah.
I'm just not a milk fan.
No.
Any kind of milk, really.
I did get some raw milk, though, because I found this guy on the internet, and he's hooked up to the Amish community.
Is that the guy that Gage made his cheese from?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that was raw dairy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Thought it was cool. Regardless of the controversy surrounding Ballerina Farms, I still love following their content because it's honestly just so beautiful and wholesome. Even if it isn't as authentic as I originally imagined.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I can see what you're saying. Like, I think people find it more interesting to follow people knowing that they have been on our level.
Yeah.
They have been a startup and now this is where they are.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's like, okay, it gives you hope that I can too be like them.
Absolutely.
But when you're watching people that it's like, man, you were set up for success even out the gate because you had financial support or whatever.
Yeah, the financial backing of...
Yeah, the rest of us are literally starting from the bottom.
Yeah.
It does take away that hope of that true feeling about it. Like, oh yeah, that could be me someday. It's like, yeah, no, probably not because I don't have that amount of money.
Yeah, there's another girl, well, I guess a family that I follow. It's the Roots and Refuge Farm. They used to be in Arkansas, and then they moved to one of the Carolinas or whatever. But she, started her interest in having a garden, being a single mom, and just doing, container gardening in her backyard of, some house that she was renting.
Mm-hmm.
And then she met her current husband and told him her dream, and he actually didn't have any interest in doing farming, and now they, are self-sustaining. Her YouTube channel really helps with living that dream, but they farm full time now. Interesting. Yeah. So I don't know. I love following homesteading content because that's goals. I don't want to homeschool my kids or anything because I don't even want to be a full stay-at-home mom.
It's hard. Homesteading's hard.
It's hard work. It's constant work.
Yeah, because during COVID, we had. I feel like that was the summer that I did a lot of homesteading stuff.
Yeah, you gardened and all that.
And harvested my own lavender, and it was a lot of work. Yeah,
I follow that Encompass Farm. They are the ones that do that body oil that I really like with the essential oils and stuff in it. And they do lives on TikTok a lot, and they're just a very, very opinionated couple, and I love listening to it just because the husband always comes off as a sarcastic asshole to his wife, and everybody's like, oh, he beats her and abuses her 24/7, but, I just think that's their banter as a couple.
Right.
But they also have, 1,000 chickens, and they, sell chicken eggs, and they also grow microgreens and sell microgreens locally, and now they have the oil, which really blew up because of TikTok, because so many people were getting it, and they were healing their eczema, psoriasis, like if their dogs had hot spots.
Interesting.
They would heal that. I mean, the stretch marks, basically people have just been using it for everything, and it's like really simple, easy ingredients.
Of course.
Yeah.
Nice.
Like coconut oil, olive oil, some essential oils.
Well, I'm not going to follow Ballerina Farms because she makes me feel like an underachiever. And I like my TikTok and Instagram to be influential to me. Yeah. Like, this is attainable.
Right, that's true.
That's why I went through and unfollowed a bunch of the athletic people too, because I was like, "Yep, I need to be
the weightlifting.
I need to be realistic with myself."
Yeah, I'm not going to be that fit person.
Yep, gotta stop. I do. It's a very bad mindset, and it's a practice to not compare.
Right.
But that's what happens when you're on social media a lot. So
yeah, that's my goal for 2024 is to not doom scroll as much.
Yeah.
Because I find myself doing that a lot.
There was something that popped up on my Instagram yesterday. It was a reel, and it was a doomsday one. And I sat here as I was like working on stuff, and I thought, that's so scary. I hope that doesn't happen. And then I was like, I'm just going to close out of it.
Yeah. On the conspiracy Reddit right now, they're like, the U.S. government is preparing us for something big to happen. And I'm like, man, we've been saying this for years now. Like, if it happens, it happens.
Yeah.
I'm doing the best I can.
Yeah.
You know, at least, you know how to make cinnamon rolls. I know how to make sourdough bread.
Which isn't really going to matter if, like, you know,
you can barter.
Electricity and gas are shut off or anything like that.
A wood stove.
I do have a wood stove.
Yeah. I'm kind of screwed at this point. I don't have electricity, but...
Propane it is, I guess. You'll have to steal it.
I'm going to get it.
I was going to say, you'll have to steal it. Loitering. Just kidding. Don't do that. I don't know. I don't know.
I think about that a lot.
I do too. I try not to too terribly much because I live with he's not quite a big doomsday prepper, but when COVID happened, let me tell you, he was like, we gotta buy all of this extra stuff. And I'm like, but we are a part of the problem. Do you see that? Like, I will never forget walking into Walmart and being like, there's nothing here at all.
I remember I would take my lunch breaks at like 9 a.m. whenever Aldi would open so that I could get to Aldi and buy stuff.
I just remember the Saturday before we went into lockdown, and I could not figure out why Walmart was so busy and things were just gone. I couldn't figure it out.
Well, do you remember 2 or 3 weeks before that, whenever I was telling our director, I was like, John, this is going to get here. It's already in New York. It's going to get here. And he was like, you're being so dramatic, Lauren. And I was like, John, I need to go buy disinfectant stuff for the department because, you know, and then I remember going into his office and being like, you got to start figuring out what we're going to do whenever we get sent home. I was like, it's going to happen. I
had just gotten back from New Orleans.
Oh, yeah.
I had just gotten back from New Orleans, and I had actually emailed Gage's teacher and was like, hey, I didn't realize it was a big deal. I saw some people wearing masks when we were in the airport, but I didn't. I was used to that because of SARS. I've seen it. Or older people wearing them, but most everybody else didn't have them on. And we went down Bourbon Street in New Orleans and nobody had them on. So,
well, because I think it was still
it was coming in.
Yeah.
It just hadn't blown up yet.
Well, and I don't think that people thought that it was going to be as big as what it is.
No, it was, because I got back from New Orleans and then the week later we were sent home. The next week and I had asked Gage's teacher and she was like, we're not concerned. We're just more concerned about the flu. And then it was 2 days later.
Sorry.
They
COVID-19.
they sent all the kids home.
Yeah. I do remember whenever they were 2 weeks to stop the spread. And then I was in Walgreens the other day and they're like, COVID-19 is here to stay. And I'm like, yeah, what happened to that 2 weeks to stop the spread?
Do you remember when they had the signs of which direction you were supposed to go down the aisles in Walmart?
Okay, but that was honestly the most efficient shopping.
Yeah, but I remember me obeying the rules.
I always did. I'm a rule
and other people not obeying the rules and me getting super pissed off. But now...
I remember because Seth and I would both go. And Seth and I both, we're both rule followers. So we would wear a mask and everything. And he'd be like, these people and not following their rules or having common courtesy for other people.
Yeah. Or but now can you imagine going in there now and doing that with the amount of personal shoppers? Because they don't give a shit.
No, they don't.
They don't move. They don't give a shit. They don't give a shit.
They don't.
Mm-mm.
They're like, I'm here to do my job.
Yeah, screw you.
Yeah.
I don't care that you need
Sure,
cereal.
I'll stand right in front of here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought it was pretty interesting though, the Ballerina Farms.
Yeah.
I feel like I had something else to say, but now I can't remember it. So I'm just going to go ahead and say that wraps up today's episode. You can find us on Spotify, YouTube, Amazon Music, and Patreon.
Don't forget to subscribe. Sorry, guys, I was late on that. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a 5-star review, give us a thumbs up on YouTube, and hit that notification bell so you can get an alert every time an episode drops.
We'll see you next week, but in the meantime,
Stay strange, my friends.